Welcome and thanks again for listening to episode 121 of the Clive Barker podcast. The box is back. In this episode, Max Lichter of the Pyramid Gallery joins Jose, Rob, and me, I'm Ryan, to talk about a little bit of Clive Barker news, the results of Duels of Blood, Round 3, and the new matches in Round 4. So vote now over at www.duelsofblood.com. Then we also have we talk about another unreleased Hellraiser treatment. So let us know if you like these, if you want to see them continue. We've got more. I think they're kind of funny in a sad way, but. So before we go on to that, I do want to say thank you to our sponsor. Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination shop is dedicated to benefiting the arts and medicine program at the Children's Cancer Center. So if you go to his Etsy page, up to 50% of the proceeds support the program where artist Don Bertram volunteers monthly. So please join us in donating to the program at the Texas Children's Cancer Center. There's a link in the show notes and on the main page, over at clivebarkercast.com. This will take you where you need to go to get one of his prints or art books and help out this wonderful program. Any friend of Clive Barker's is a friend of ours, and we thank him for his support. Okay, so we don't have very much news to talk about. It's been a slow news week, I guess. But Clive Barker is going to be doing an introduction to is it a Norwegian or a Swedish art book called The Dark North?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
It's a gaming. Have y'all done any role playing? It seems like it's a role playing game.
Oh, really?
Sure.
And he's writing the.
I thought it was just an art book. Huh.
No, it's The Dark North, a project that was successfully funded on Kickstarter over a year ago. So he's going to introduce a collection of 5 myths created by 5 popular Scandinavian artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's cool. I mean, I'm a big fan of RPGs and especially stuff that involves Vikings and Nordic mythology. I'm a big player of Skyrim, for example, which is kind of that. So
yeah.
It looks amazing.
And then I just threw this on there, but the new Brazilian edition of the Scarlet Gospels has an awesome cover. It's got a big pinhead with his chest ripped open.
I just saw that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's this. Most of us are never going to have that edition, but
I could.
Yeah, you could read it in Portuguese then, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was looking at that. In Portuguese, they translated the title Scarlet Gospels to Evangelhos de Sangue, which means the Blood Gospels.
I was just wondering that.
So I think it's amazing. You got like a pinhead with – it looks almost like that pinhead that was made for that Hellraiser Origins thing. You remember that?
Yeah.
Right. It reminds me of that a little bit.
That's a painting, isn't it? Looks that way.
Yeah.
That book has that. The Scarlet Gospels had like the best covers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, none of them are bad. I mean, the U.S. cover is a little simplistic, but none of them are bad covers. They're all pretty cool.
Even has like a halo made out of panels of the box, which I thought that was a great touch.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Hey, doesn't what there was one. Well, like the German one, right? Had a door and a pentagram or something on it.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. It was more stylistic than it didn't really have like a face or anything. It was just like you said, a pentagram. Usually, some of his European books have great covers as well. I think I remember seeing an amazing cover for Mr. Begone for the German market that had a demon coming out of a bathtub covered in blood, which is really cool.
Yeah, not super related to the story, but
no.
Yeah, because I don't remember.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Right. Uh-huh. So I guess we'll go right into the Duels of Blood.
Welcome to the Duels of Blood.
And so round 3 is over. If anybody. We didn't have as much voting this time around, and maybe we just didn't push it enough. But let's see.
What were the total voters for the past 2 before the third bracket?
Oh, let's see.
So it looks like we're getting around 160 some for some of these 150.
Yeah, and round 1 I think was 300 around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we have to take into account that we have less characters to vote on as well.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that actually makes it go faster, though. I mean, I think it's a little easier for people. Round 1 was kind of a chore to go through all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And round 2 was a lot easier to do, and this last round only took like 30 seconds to get through all those.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so some really surprising results. Butterball beat the female Cenobite.
Oh.
It's such a close.
It was.
Yeah, it's very close. It was like 52% to 48%.
Yeah. So 6 votes apart.
I remember when you were posting something on the podcast page, and you were saying, "Hey, they're only 1 vote separating Butterball and female Cenobite, so
Yeah.
pick your favorite."
Yeah, and I think I tagged Barbie on one where I said it's a neck and no neck.
That's a good one.
We've been looking at this thumbnail of Butterball so much lately. It makes me wonder: is he called Butter? He's not called Butterball because he's fat, right? Is he called Butterball because his head looks like a turkey?
That's interesting. I've never took it that way before.
But if you look at that picture, his head totally looks like a turkey.
Oh, wow.
Or a human
I
thumb.
never really noticed that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because he's fat, but now that you mentioned that, I'm looking at his head, and it's kind of shaped like a turkey. If only he had like some weird ears to make for the wings or something. Yeah.
Wings, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, but that sounds plausible, and now I want to ask Simon about it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get back to everybody about that if that's the reason for the name.
As I say, I can see the fan art coming in now of the modified Butterball.
The turkey version. Butterball turkey.
Yeah.
Right. As a non-American, I only learned late into the game that a Butterball could also be a Butterball turkey. I didn't know that, we don't have Thanksgiving in Portugal, so
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't aware of the names of certain species of turkeys, although my grandfather had turkeys.
It's actually a brand name of a... Yeah, it's like a farm.
Okay. So that was really close. Congratulations, Simon.
Yeah, wow. So basically, Butterball has as much chance as any of these other characters of winning the entire tournament now.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going to happen from here on out. I mean, so this next one, I think we all kind of knew that this was going to happen.
Oh,
Julia totally crushed CD.
Jesus.
He got 2
votes.
He got 2 votes. I want to know who did that. Was it
This
any
is
of
not
you
a
guys?
landslide. This is more like Goku dropping a planet on what's the name of that character I'm thinking? Frieza. This is like Goku throwing a planet on top of Frieza in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Wow. 163 votes versus 2.
Yeah,
So much for our idea of telling people, go vote for CD.
Did any of you guys vote for CD?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because
I'm just surprised CD got it that far. So, I mean,
I know.
It had to have been a DJ of some sort that voted for him.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe the actor who played him.
Right.
This has to go down as like the most one-sided voting ever.
Yeah.
yeah.
God.
It is Julia, though, so
Yeah,
it wouldn't
it is.
surprise me if Julia actually takes this whole thing either. She'd be a leading contender.
Yeah.
That's
Well, she
great.
definitely got more votes than anybody else in the whole tournament, but that's just because of who she was up against too.
Right.
So that's it for the Hellraiser bracket, and then in the magical bracket, Mr. Hood versus Christopher Carrion was also pretty much a landslide.
Mm.
Yeah.
The house didn't win this time.
Oh, that's a good one. I was saying the house always wins last episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess. So Christopher Carrion had 128 votes, and Mr. Hood only had 21. It's okay. I mean, Christopher Carrion is it's more present in the people's minds because of Apparat. So
Yeah, right. And Mr. Hood is only a one-off. He's in one book and he dies.
I've got a question about Christopher Carrion. What exactly is the bowl around his face, and was that fish or?
Yeah.
What is that?
Those are his nightmares.
Ah.
So they come out of those tubes in his head and go into this bowl of water that's around his face, so that these nightmares can swim around by his face.
How cool!
I gotta read these books. The Aberrat series.
Yeah.
So
In the opening,
cool characters.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was done. I was just saying there's so many cool characters in this.
There really are. Yeah.
Story.
I was gonna say that in the beginning of the second volume of the Aberrat, you see Christopher Carrion feeding his nightmares, and the way he does that is he plucks them out of that fishbowl around his head, and they feed on fear. So there's a scene which is, I think, very effective, where he just he has one of the miners that mines mud in the Island of Midnight. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, because you know more about this than I do. And we see, I think it's the crisscross man that's going for an audience with Christopher Carrion. And then he sees Carrion feeding his nightmares, and he drops those they're basically like light ribbons. He drops them on the floor, and they immediately go for the miner. They wrap themselves around him, and they scare him to death, and then they come back.
Yeah.
It's pretty gruesome.
So it's a children's book, but or it's a children's series, but it can be a little disturbing.
Definitely from the mind of Barker. You can tell that.
It seems like it starts off kind of like maybe the tone of like The Hobbit, then it gets progressively dark like the Lord of the Rings books did. I mean, this is kind of like isn't this his Lord of the Rings kind of like
or like Harry Potter? Yeah, I mean, Harry Potter starts out pretty easy reading, and then I think that the books sort of grow up with the kids,
Right.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, in more ways than one. I was going to compare this to the Star Wars prequels, because you start off with, now this is pod racing, little kid and stuff.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the third one, you got Anakin getting his limbs hacked off and left to burn to death next to lava.
Yeah.
So it's the darkest of the three.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and right from the start, when R2-D2 squirts oil onto that other robot and sets him on fire, you're like, holy crap, he never did anything like that before.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It had this totally weird, like, 3D PG-13 feel that no other Star Wars movies had.
Right.
So we've got also Jimothy Terry versus Pio Pa, and this was really close.
I voted for Pio Pa, and I'm glad. He. What is Pi? Is he a
Mischief?
Mischief, yeah.
Yeah. Right. You can't.
I'm glad he pulled it. I'm glad he pulled out on that one because I think he's one of my. He's one I'd be. I'm thinking I'm calling it right now. I think he's going to win it all.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he won. He beat Jimothy Terry only by 2 votes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. 75 to 73. That was very close.
I think he's going to take Christopher Canyon. It'll be close, but I think he's going to win Christopher Canyon.
Oh yeah, maybe so. And then in Nightbreed, both of these were a landslide. So Cabal versus Decker, Aaron Boone beat Decker by a lot.
Yeah.
So
I thought it'd be closer, but I'm not surprised by the landslide.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems to me, I thought that there's a lot of people out there that mainly just like Nightbreed for Decker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I share Rob's opinion. I thought it was going to be closer because Decker did pretty well in the last round, and it's Decker. It's Cronenberg.
Yeah. And
a lot of people like him.
And he's really Clive Barker's only. Well, I guess Pinhead is more so. I was going to say like, what do you call those kind of monsters that come? Why is my mind blanking? The name for monsters like Jason and Freddy and
what you mean slasher?
Slashers, yeah.
Oh,
He's like Clive Barker's slasher monster.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
He's not even a monster. He's just a guy with a mask that's crazy. But
that's kind of the message of the movie, though, is that he is the real monster. In a sense, he's kind of the head of the whole human psychosis.
Yeah.
I'm happy that Cabal won because, again, he's another character that can go either way. He can win it all or, he can lose in the next round. But I think he's a very strong character.
And then next, Narcisse versus Ashbury. I mean, I think we kind of all predicted that this would be the result, but Narcisse won.
Yeah.
Again, Ashbury made it farther than I thought, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's going to be interesting to see what happens between Cabal and Narcisse.
Yeah,
They're good friends.
Well, and Narcisse, actually, both of these characters change a lot in the director's cut, right? So,
That's true.
Narcisse dies, in which he was supposed to do in the original film, but the producers liked him enough to give him more time at the end.
Spoilers.
Yeah, and Ashbury, I guess
He's more sympathetic in the director's cut, I guess.
Yeah, I liked his character a lot more.
Yeah. Well, and he kills Eigerman, which Eigerman just sort of wanders off in the theatrical version, and you don't see him again.
Yeah,
I was just going to say Ashbury, that he turns into, I don't know, in the release version. I haven't watched it in a while. Does his head get mutated like that in the in the release version too?
Yeah, from the bowl flipping onto his face and
the blood of Baphomet.
Yeah, the blood of Baphomet.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was so kind of. He looks like the Jaff in a way.
Yeah,
that's an excellent observation. Yeah, I you know what? I never noticed that, but you're right. The Jaff is supposed to have an elongated, like fetus-like head. So, wow.
And in the book, he got his didn't he get his arms and legs burned off?
Yeah, he was all broken up and burned.
Yeah.
But he was still alive, and I think...
And he could smell the Nightbreed, so Eigerman would lead him around trying to hunt them down.
Yeah, in the novella, he gets his limbs amputated to save his life, and then he just becomes this blind stump of a person who's still alive and hates the Nightbreed with all his heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so in the bloody bracket, so our final two, Candyman versus Tesla Bombeck. Candyman won, about a little over double the votes of Tesla, which is not surprising. You know, movie characters have a pretty good advantage over the ones that are only in books.
Yeah, and it's Tony Todd. You know, fans love Tony Todd and they love Candyman, except for maybe the third one, which is yeah. The third one was not. Did you see the third one, Max?
You know, what was the name of it again?
Day of
the Dead.
Candyman Day of the Dead.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the one down in New Orleans.
No,
that's Candyman with Fair Little Flesh.
It's in California.
I
think it's in Southern California.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, I don't think.
It's where the little girl from Candyman 2 is all grown up all of a sudden, and she's that model from Baywatch.
She's a Playboy centerfold, yeah. That played, yeah.
So she's a centerfold in the.
No, I mean,
in real life.
The
life, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, in real life, she's a terrible painter.
Okay. So I'll have to look this up to be a completist just to see it because I don't even know if I was aware of that movie.
Just take your time. You're not really missing much.
Yeah. And there were rumors of a fourth one, but that never went forward.
Yeah.
So far.
Just nothing more. I don't really know what else you could do with it. I mean, kind of repeating the same story over and over again.
And then only 3 votes apart, we have Harvey Swick versus the city of Popolac. So
that's awesome.
Harvey Swick won.
Wow.
Yay.
I guess the house did win on that one, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he's not a house.
I'm surprised that Popolac didn't win because that's such a cool story and it's such a cool character. But at the same time, when we read The Thief of Always, we do tend to identify with Harvey a lot. And I think every reader of The Thief of Always tends to identify with Harvey and think about what it was like when we were kids. And so I guess that would influence the vote there.
Yeah. And it's an interesting fable about how when you're a kid, you just want to hurry up and grow up. But then what if someone just stole all that time from you? You might feel differently. Yeah.
And the years seem like they take forever. But then as you grow into adulthood, it seems like the years go faster and faster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, as soon as you have a kid, then your life accelerates really fast.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so as we're going into round 4, the voting is going to start on, what did we say, Saturday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Final 4.
Yeah, so then we'll have Butterball versus Julia. And what do you guys predict for that one? I think
Julia.
I think Julia.
Yeah, Julia.
But I wouldn't have thought that Butterball would beat Female Cenobite either. I mean, I
I love all the Cenobites, but I thought that female Cenobite would have won.
Well,
you have to convince
Pinhead being eliminated. Yeah, it's just amazing to think that Pinhead's not making it to the end at all. You know. It's crazy.
We have to convince Simon to post on his page about this.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I think
rally the fans.
I kind of, it makes me wonder who are the people that are voting, because maybe our listeners are more of the deep cut kind of voters instead of, like, you know, that's why Pinhead isn't on here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He's too obvious of a choice, maybe.
Right.
But nobody's going to stand for CD winning.
Yeah.
That's obvious. Yeah, they just blew him out of the water.
Yeah. So then we go on to Christopher Carrion versus Pi O Pa. And so, Rob, you had already kind of predicted that Pi.
I think Pi O Pa is going to win that one.
That's tough. Christopher Carrion.
It's going to be close.
Christopher Carrion is a sympathetic bad guy, and he's in 3 books so far. You know, and he's going to continue on in 2 more.
I'd like to see Pi O Pa win because I like him a little better than Christopher Carrion. And,
well, and I think Magica is pretty widely regarded as his best book.
Yeah.
It's kind of I guess
get that going for him.
The apex of the literary.
You know what I think is interesting is when Clive painted this painting of Pi O Pa, he drew it in the same pose as the Mona Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Did you notice that? I mean, if you ever see the full painting, it's Pi O Pa with his arms folded, and he's just on that 3/4 turn, like smiling at the.
The one I used is just from the Magica card, so it looks just like that on the website. So,
well, you know, that's interesting that you bring that up because I've done some studies on the Mona Lisa, and actually there was an androgynous aspect. There's Da Vinci actually did a sketch of the Mona Lisa before the painting, and it actually shows I think a phallus. It was like a full body pose.
Oh,
so okay. It was a weird. So that kind of ties in with Pi O Pa in a weird sort of way.
Like an androgynous nature to the good. Mm-hmm. And there's a theory that was going around a few years ago that said that the Mona Lisa could be a representation of a young Leonardo da Vinci. You know, I don't know how true that is, but you know that was something that some art historians were talking.
It was one of his young lovers, Salier. He also had the nickname the Little Devil, which is interesting if you know anything about that. But if you go into the background he was like his assistant, Da Vinci's assistant. So I've heard it was actually a take on him as well, which is interesting. So,
fascinating. Mm-hmm. I think the most widely known story is that there was the wife of a merchant that was called La Gioconda, which is what some people call the painting as well. But those are all interesting theories. I mean, to this day, the mystery remains, and also the genius of the paint stroke that made that wonderful smile.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to say about Christopher Carrion, he did have a large number of votes compared to Pi O Pa, so it's going to be tough one way or the other. Yeah. It's going to be close at least.
Yeah. And Aberrat is a little more current. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. So in Nightbreed, we're going to have Cabal versus Narcisse. That is also, I think, going to be tough because Narcisse is sort of a fan favorite, and Cabal he's the main character, but people don't really talk about him as much.
Yeah, we're going to put the fans in a tough spot with this one.
Yeah, I think so.
The best one win.
And Cabal was kind of a jerk to Laurie at the end of the director's cut, and the novel.
At the end of the director's cut?
Yeah, because he was going to leave her, right? And so she.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm too busy with the Nightbreed for you. Sorry.
Also, Narcisse. I mean, there's that part in the movie when Decker shows up at Midian and is chasing Laurie, and then Boone goes up into the surface with Narcisse, and he confronts Decker, right? So Laurie's passed out on the floor, and then Narcisse kind of creeps up to Laurie, and he starts like caressing her face and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder: is he really a good guy? What would have happened?
Yeah, a little
I
bit.
was only trying to keep her warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ruined he's as much at fault for the humans invading Nightbreed as Boone is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because he's the reason why Decker gets away.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, the story had to go on for another half an hour, so.
Yeah, if they just killed Decker right there. You kind of root for that to happen, but then it would make it a bad movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Man, I think maybe Narcisse is going to win.
Yeah, I would bet for that, too.
Hugh Ross is on Facebook and Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and Weiss is Craig Sheffer is not, and he didn't know what a podcast was, so he called this the Clive Barker broadcast. So I think maybe Narcisse is going to win because he's got he talks to the fans more and.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, people, go and tweet at Hugh Ross and tell him that he's taking the Nightbreed bracket. So retweet that duelsofblood.com and tell your fans to come vote for Narcisse so he can win.
And we could also do that for Simon and for Simon Bamford too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see if Butterball gets the bracket there.
And then Candyman versus Harvey Swick. I mean, I like Harvey Swick a lot, but I have a feeling that he's not going to make it.
Yeah, you never know.
It's going up against Candyman, so that's kind of a hard one.
Yeah. Candyman's got one short story and two good movies and a bad movie.
And Harvey only has one kid's story.
Yeah.
But, don't underestimate the popularity of The Thief of Always. It's a very powerful book. It's a very nice little fable. So.
And there's a whole section of people that are younger than us that grew up with that, reading it as a child.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it was even. I keep bringing this up, but it's even being used by some teachers in school, right? The Thief of Always, I think.
I don't know. I didn't know that. If that is,
I know
that's
that,
very cool.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty
Aberrant
cool
is
teachers,
true.
yeah.
I believe I've read something about that some teachers were using this book in school.
Well,
The coolest my teachers ever got was introducing me to Poe, but that'd be great to be introduced to Barker in school.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember in elementary school, the only Poe we ever did was The Raven.
Yeah,
I didn't get to do Poe. I did get to do Beowulf though, so that's not a bad. That's classic.
Probably translated, right?
Yeah.
Apart from those Poe stories that everybody knows, like the Telltale Heart and the Black Cat, some of the stuff that I think is really awesome from Edgar Allan Poe are the crime stories, the police stories. Inspector Lupin, and he's kind of the father of the mystery novel in some ways.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the Murders in the Rue Morgue, which Clive Barker paid homage to with the new Murders in the Rue Morgue story.
Yeah.
Which is really atypical of Clive Barker. He doesn't do that. I mean, ever. I think
He must have really loved that story.
Yeah.
To wanna...
Or maybe he just wanted an excuse for monkey-human sex.
Yeah. True.
The story I was introduced to by Poe in school was, is it Leapfrog? Is that the name of it? Or Hopfrog? You guys, are you familiar with that story at all?
No.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's very, I don't want to say emotional, but yeah, it's about this, Hopfrog.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very, very nice one. There's been a cinematic adaptation of that in that movie with 4 stories by Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah, it's that dwarf guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so but it's very tragic ending. So you guys should check it out.
I've read them all, but I can't remember that one.
There's a guy who's he's kind of deformed. He's like he has like a hump, I think, and he's the jester of a king.
Right.
And then the king keeps making fun of him, and he makes fun of everybody. And I think at one point he does something to a beautiful lady from his court who's like a servant, and the Hopfrog really likes that girl, and so he decides to take revenge on the king. And so he, the king has a knack for like practical jokes, and so the jester tells him, I got a practical joke for you. Let's dress you up and your ministers as orangutans, for this masquerade ball. And then, they all get terribly murdered, dressed as orangutans. But I'm not going to spoil it for people. Just go and read Hop Frog by Edgar Allan Poe.
Jeez. Holy cow, I don't remember. Maybe I didn't read that. I have a complete works of Edgar Allan Poe that I read, but...
Yeah. Do.
There's a lot of awesome stories by Poe that are not as widely known, but doesn't make them any less good.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like the poem Tamerlane. I remember reading that and not understanding what's going on in that.
Oh, okay. I am not as familiar with the poetry of Poe as I am with the short stories. So, there's even an essay that was written by Poe that I don't think most people know about. It's called Eureka, and it's a really cool essay that he wrote. Very long. But anyway, we're not the Edgar Allan Poe podcast.
That's okay.
We could just talk for ages about this.
So, we've got help. This is even worse than the last one. This is another Hellraiser treatment called Hellraiser Redux: The Box is Back.
This is like
there's a colon involved, all right.
These Hellraiser treatments are starting to be like Dear John letters. They just make me sad the more I read them.
Yeah.
The Box is Back by Corey Goodman, and this guy he wrote I think 2 movies. One is called Priest, and I think it's from 2011, and it's got Paul Bettany and Christopher Plummer in it, and I was surprised because I've never heard of this movie until I looked up Corey Goodman. And there's a sequel to Priest, I think. It's called it's from 2015, and it is called help me out here, Ryan.
I only saw the first one. I didn't want to see the second one after.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, there's a sequel. So from 2015, and as you would imagine, The Last Witch Hunter. That's it. I think
that one's a sequel.
I think so. I think it's the same priest from the Priest movie.
Oh,
and he also
Vin Diesel movie.
Yes. Okay. Yes, it is. It's not a sequel. Okay, you're right. But it's another guy with a shaved head, and he's got these quirky things. Like in the first one, the Priest one, he has these shurikens that are little crosses that he throws in the air
in slow motion.
He fights vampires, and then while the shurikens are falling in slow motion, he's moving in like real speed and picking 2 and 3 at a time and throwing them at the vampires. Yeah. And oh my god, not very good. So. Yeah. So Corey Goodman.
Do we know the year on this one? I mean, it's not on this document anywhere. But...
I was wondering if he took these ideas and if this was before Priest, and made Priest out of these ideas.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Has that feeling, yeah.
Because he's got some mad monks in this Hellraiser treatment, so that's really weird.
So probably sometime between 2005 and 2010.
Yeah,
I think it was probably closer to 2009, 2010.
Okay.
Because the earliest I could find in articles around the internet that mentioned his name as being involved with the Hellraiser treatment was in 2010.
Oh, okay.
From Shock Till He Drops. So since the first treatments were around 2008, I think this might have been 2009, 2010.
And this, I mean, they say Redux, so I guess this is another one of the failed starts for a remake, right?
Right.
Ugh. Yeah.
Box is packed.
So this is only 5 pages?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I fell asleep over and over trying to read this, especially the last page.
It was a chore.
And then maybe I just need to get more sleep, but oh my god.
I really don't remember much from it. It just kind of became a blur after.
Yeah, so it starts out kind of promising because it starts in World War I with an Elliot Spencer like character that's but then all his soldiers are afraid of him, and he tortures people. And then there's one scene in here where he's walking around not worried about getting shot for some reason, and so then he comes up to a dead body, and the quote is, "Until finally he finds something sewn in the lining of the stomach." a box. So can you guys explain to me how he cut this guy's stomach open and he had like a puzzle box sewn into the lining of his stomach?
I guess the guy must have ate it.
I
don't know.
That's pretty big object, right?
Yeah, I know.
It was an accident, Ryan. He was trying to sit on a chair and he didn't see there was a box in there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, Pinhead is in this, and there's a glimpse of that origin. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Hellraiser 3.
Yeah, it did.
And you know what also reminds me of Hellraiser 3? A scene that happens in an ER where someone comes in and he's a victim of the box that they're holding on to tightly. Mm-hmm. And, but in answer to your question, that is so weird that that guy would be in the middle of no man's land and he would have the box inside his body. And not just that, but there's something that will happen that will appear in this, which is there's a secret society of people, and their distinctive mark is a tattoo on their temple of the box.
Yeah. Yeah, so they can't even hide
how secret
that.
can it be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's nuts.
That's crazy. I just don't see. There's a lot of things in this treatment that seem like they were very rushed, and that it seems like it was pumped out in like an hour. Like, you want a treatment? Sure.
Well, you can tell it's an early treatment because he's like when he's describing the lead character Anna, she's beautiful. Think Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah,
and then,
they should have written "good luck" in parentheses on there.
Yeah.
You know, then later on he references Sarah Connor in Terminator, and
yeah, that's
It's just being John Malkovich, and there's so many different references. It seems like shortcuts. It'd be hard, I would think, to be a writer and to actually write something, that big of a shortcut, even if it is for an early script. It just seems, I don't know, seems kind of cheap.
Yeah.
And if you look at the
nightmares in this. Doing the nightmare angle, and I just,
Oh, yeah, and then they wake up and they realize it was all a dream.
I'm tired of that crap.
Yeah. I mean, we've got 8 movies of that or whatever.
Yeah,
or not
true,
8. It's like
6,
5, I guess. Yeah.
But so Max was mentioning that the fact that this guy mentions compares Anna, the main character, to Kate Beckinsale, and surprise, surprise, Corey Goodman is now writing Underworld: Blood Wars, which will come out in 2017. So, and if you look at the trailers for Priest, you will see that there's definitely an aesthetic to the world that this guy writes, which is, like these mad monks and shaved heads and pale people and dressed in blue-black outfits with plenty of buckles and stuff.
Yeah, and CGI black sky, black clouds, and yeah.
So but again, the main character in this movie, just like in Hellraiser 1 and Hellraiser 3 and Hellraiser 2, is a woman, which I'm fine with. But she can't seem to make it through the story by herself. She has to have the help of a darkly handsome man. That's how it's described in the script.
More than once, it says that, yeah.
Yeah. And,
Caleb.
Right, exactly, Caleb. So, and also she's very naive. She gets tricked by the simplest tricks ever. I mean, and she falls for the same trick twice, I think.
With the sun?
With the son, because her big trauma is that she was in a car crash and she lost her son, and that's what she wants to change because the box says that it'll reveal your deepest wish, right?
But then they torture you.
Yeah. The moments when the box is open are really confusing because Pinhead appears but seems to do very little in the story. Mostly it's just it just starts off these scenes where it's Anna or Caleb running from people with box tattoos on their temples or being followed by Cenobites who have to chase after their victims like slashers.
Because she got the box from that ER victim, which is taken straight out of Hellraiser 3.
Right.
And then this secret society, they came and took care of the body, but they didn't get the box in time because she got it.
Yeah.
Because she's a nurse.
Oh, I forgot to mention. The way that Corey mentions the box, he calls it the lamentation box instead of the lament configuration, which I'm not sure entirely if it's him trying to change it or if it's him just
not knowing
that it's the lament configuration.
They did that. They did that one of the other treatments. They were calling it the
The Hellraiser box.
You
wishing
remember
box.
in Hellraiser 8, the Lamont configuration.
Oh, yeah. I accidentally, when I was doing my presentation in class, called it the Lamont configuration. I correct myself. I felt so silly. Nobody else cared, but I was like...
here that says she goes to the computer, Googling the words lamentation box, and the screen spitting out frightening images of pale creatures, Dante's Inferno-style suffering. What is this thing?
Yeah. It's on the internet, I guess.
Seems like they were trying to get the labyrinth back in here with mentioning like a dark corridor. When she
but why did she take the box into the shower with it? Is that what you guys got out of that? She actually brought the box in the shower while she's taking a shower with it or something?
Oh, but that was a dream.
Okay.
Well, she takes the box when she goes out for a walk to straighten her mind, and it's like, why would you take the box? What's the point of taking the box?
Yeah, you got this
while
thing
you're taking a walk. Just leave it at home. But there's so many things that we could nitpick at this. It's like, for example, when there's that ER event, okay? So there's this dead guy holding a box, and there's these guys who appear, and she grabs the box, and then these guys not only take the dead body, but they kill some people in the ER. Mm-hmm. So you'd imagine that the police would get involved, and they would have to, find out what happened. But no, she sees them kill people, and then she just walks home, takes the box with her, and goes home to relax. How do you relax after you see people being killed in front of you?
Yeah.
Probably in the same room or the room next door. It's like, okay, it just doesn't hold up at all. It just seems like bad fan fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, maybe they would work that stuff out in the script, but...
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it is a treatment, but as a premise, it seems like a shoddy premise, and... There's this concept with horror movies. It's called Final Girl. Usually it means that, there's a main character in a horror movie that's going to be a girl, and she's going to be the one that's going to defeat the monster, and she's going to be the last one that survives, okay? So Kirsty is kind of a final girl. Joey is a final girl. Mm-hmm. But Anna is not really a final girl. I mean, she is technically, but she needs a lot of help to get there, not as strong as Kirsty or Joey. Although it's arguable if she could have defeated Pinhead without Elliot Spencer's help in Hellraiser 3, but she is a defiant and strong character. I mean, Joey, and I think Peter Atkins did a great job with her character. This Anna character, not so much.
Right.
Yeah. There's also a weird scene where they're going into the basement of a church, and there are books about every single It's kind of like being in the Vatican, I guess. That this idea that they have all these hidden books that tell the real secret of what's going on in the world of supernatural and anyway, they're trying to get away from some of these. I think are they getting away from the Cenobites? So what they do to get away is climb up the bookshelves to get on top of the bookshelves. So did that make any sense to you guys? Did you understand why that was a good thing to do?
I didn't.
At that point, I really just checked out of this. I didn't really. I don't.
But then again, the whole ending of this script doesn't make any sense because, of course, when she finally confronts Pinhead and she does open the box, even though she saw people getting killed by opening the box, but she's to the point where she wants her deepest secret to be real, so she opens the box and Pinhead appears and tricks her with oh, here's your fake son. And it's not really a kid. It's just like pieces of flesh held together with pins.
I got the idea he was like a mini Pinhead or something like that.
Yeah, and then further in the story, it's the kid that's gonna help her escape.
Get out of escape.
Was that right? I think I missed that part.
Yeah, so I'm like, what the heck? This is Pinhead's ruse is gonna help her defeat Pinhead. Why?
He's not really her son, right? He's just some thing. He's just a
construct. Yeah, to trick her. But that's not even the worst. I mean, let's talk about the box. I have no idea what sort of artifact this would be in production. But okay, as usual, it's open in a matter of seconds, as usual in the sequels. Yeah. And then in another time, Anna discovers that the configuration to open the box is a date. So how in the world does that mean anything or make any sense? What is the box? A combination lock?
Yeah. I thought that was nuts too, and it seemed to me like it was a problem he was passing off to the special effects people.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys deal with this.
Maybe they would make it something like that Codex from the Da Vinci Code.
Oh, yeah.
You know, maybe, I don't know, but it seems like that's what they were aiming for. But it just seems like he thought about it for like 2 seconds. You know, like in the Star Wars prequels when Lucas came up with the idea for the Jedi kill order to be Order 66.
Oh.
I mean, maybe he thought 666 was going to be too much on the nose, so he was like, okay, 66.
Yeah.
I don't.
I doubt very seriously that they would have made a different box. You know, it's just like putting Pinhead as the lead Cenobite in every movie. They're always going to use the same box in every movie. They're not going to do anything original, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
After all these years, you know.
So maybe this concept of it being a date would not have made it to the... Well, I mean, this whole script didn't even make it. This thing didn't even make it to being a script. And we know that Harvey Weinstein's not very discerning about what he accepts, but even, you know, so we're getting the stuff that he rejected.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's weird how at the end of the story he tacks on this thing, how the mysterious woman got the box. At the very end, I guess this is he was going to insert this, I guess, earlier in the story.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Mm-hmm.
That's going to be like the backstory thread for the guy that becomes Pinhead, right, from the beginning.
Yeah.
The
person that would be in the emergency room that Anna would see. This is like the little backstory for it.
Okay.
But I have no idea where they were going to put this, you know.
Yeah.
So the box is like, it focuses on the darkest wish,
I guess,
of people. Okay.
And then it was like, our pain is their power, right?
Yeah, that's so stupid.
Well, and then she throws the box into the river, and then some fishing guy, pulls it out with a bunch of dead crabs. It's like, oh, the box is back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cue title.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So
sounds like there was another scene in here that sounded like it would be, I don't know, could have been kind of cool. Cenobites chasing Anna through in a doll factory.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been interesting.
It would all depend on the execution. I mean, it's like Pinhead. In this story, he doesn't do much. It doesn't seem to be very interesting. But sure, I mean, the first one, he has a great commanding presence with a great economy of movement and words. So it comes down to execution, I guess.
I don't understand why they just can't do a remake that has, Julia, Frank, and all that stuff.
Yeah, or if they did the most faithful retelling of the novel as you could.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I would totally enjoy a Hellbound Heart faithful novelization, movie. But I think the whole idea of Hellraiser remakes, and I know I've been very vocal about remakes, and I'm not going to mention any titles, but it's like there's always going to be people complaining about remakes. If they brought back Julia and Frank, there would be people saying, "Oh, it's not the real Julia, it's not the real Frank." Why remake something that already exists and is good? Why not remake bad movies? I mean, look at Carpenter.
Yeah.
He remade The Thing from Another World, which is, kind of a schlocky film, right?
Yeah.
Made it a really good, awesome piece of cinema.
Right.
Cronenberg remade The Fly, which is, arguably, it's kind of, it's a funny movie, like, help me, the little fly with a...
Yeah.
And he turned it into a whole, body horror kind of thing, which...
Kind of sad love story, too.
But it's like remaking movies that are really good and iconic. I just don't see how... that it's not going to add anything to it. Lightning is not going to strike twice. I mean, what's the point of remakes of good movies?
Well, and in the 80s, those remakes... it's like people weren't going to go out and find those other old movies and watch them. But now everything's available.
True. I believe that, for example, Death Race 2000, I think the only reason it's on DVD, the original, is because they remade it. I forgot the year, but, they did remake it.
It was like 99 or something like that.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Oh, you mean the original Death Race 2000? That's like 70s. That goes back a ways. That had Sylvester Stallone, I think, in it.
Yeah, I can't remember what year the remake came out, but I think it was early 2000s, maybe.
Sure. I mean, when a remake brings the old movies into attention, that's fine. But for example, there's movies who are doing just fine by themselves that don't need to be remade because they, the idea that new is better is, I think, a false equivalence. I don't believe that is true.
Well, and my feeling is now we have the Scarlet Gospels. Why aren't they working on that before people forget about it?
I know.
Or even think about Paul Kane's compilation of the Hellbound Hearts. You could take a number of those stories and make a, kind of like an anthology type movie from any of those stories. That most of those are really good. I mean,
and any of the comic writers from the Hellraiser comic could adapt one of their stories into a movie.
True. I would say probably the anthology format, though, has kind of fallen a little out of the movie industry. I think maybe the last one that we might have seen could have been Planet Terror and Death Proof.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can call it that. I mean, it was the Grindhouse double bill.
Well, no, you'd just want one of those stories that you could adapt long enough to be one movie, I think.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, my hope would be the Scarlet Gospels. That seems like a no-brainer, and I don't understand why it's only fans talking about that.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That would be amazing to see the Unbeheld take shape. And it's a little ambitious, though. I mean, how would you represent hell and all that stuff? That would take a huge amount of visual work. But if anyone could do it, just look at Clive's drawings and stuff for that. I mean, I don't have the deluxe edition of the Scarlet Gospel, so I don't know if it has artwork in there. Rob, you have the book, right?
What, the deluxe edition?
No, I don't. No, I think just David does.
Yeah, David.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, right. So I don't know what's in there. Do you remember if it's supposed to have like a concept art in there or sketches?
Yeah, there were some sketches, but I think you've seen them online.
Right.
The
okay.
ones that I think we've posted on our page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Ryan was saying,
fans walking through hell. The Satan's lair. Those have been seen. I think that's all that was in there.
Oh, that's great.
He said it was kind of disappointing collection.
Okay. So that's cool. I mean, I wish I could see those, and I'm sure that, like Ryan is saying, instead of remaking Hellraiser, why not try to make Scarlet Gospels? Probably you could spend the same amount of money and make a movie that's more interesting. But whatever. It's like I don't want to jinx anything because whatever comes, as long as Clive Barker makes some money out of it, that's what matters.
Yeah. So I guess moving on into just what we've got going on the site, we just did a commentary for the Book of Blood. So if you subscribe to this feed, this podcast feed, then you'll have heard that already, or you'll have seen that it's there. But yeah, that was fun. That was another. That was we're starting to do the good movies, and our next one is going to be Hellraiser.
Yeah,
awesome. Looking forward to that.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
And Sherlock Holmes and the Servants of Hell. So coming soon, we're going to be doing an episode about that. I think the book is just now shipping to people, right? I think people are getting it in the mail.
I just got mine like 2 days ago. I just received mine.
Oh, excellent! I think you're going to enjoy it because you might find a certain place that's very dear to you in there.
Awesome.
That's all I'm going to say. And Ryan, how are you doing with reading your book?
I am not any farther than that. I've read like the first chapter.
I'm almost done.
The first 2 chapters.
I'm almost done. Rob, you were the first one to finish it, and you posted a really awesome review. So people go check it out on our blog. Rob's review for the Servants of Hell. I'm having a trip. If
I don't get it done in time, you guys may do that episode without me.
Okay. You don't have to be out of the episode, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd be afraid of it getting spoiled. Well, I guess it probably wouldn't, because we wouldn't want to spoil it. Yeah,
I see your point. Okay.
Yeah, but well, I'll do my best, and then after that we'll have news episodes and more Duels of Blood. But we've got Imagica will be our next big book that we're going to be doing this year.
Oof, that's going to be a doozy.
And maybe the last big book for the year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to be doing after we get Imagica done, then I'll be doing a video review of Jericho, because I think that's going to take up a lot of my free time. So I want to spend.
We'll be having a special guest for the Imagica episode, which is going to be our friend and listener Ben Warren.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, he contributed to our Kickstarter, so he's going to be a part of the Imagica episode.
And he's been waiting patiently on that one.
Yeah.
And, Rob, you just wrote Halloween When Hell Almost Came to Haddonfield. So it's about the proposed Halloween and Hellraiser crossover movie, right?
Yeah, it was just an article I've been wanting to do for a while, and it's a project I don't know why I'm so fascinated with, because I know it'd be crappy. But I don't know, I keep, having these, sometimes I have dreams about it, so I just
really?
got it out.
You're a big fan of both franchises, right? I mean, I'm a big fan of Halloween too. Yeah.
I really only liked the first two movies. I haven't even seen the other ones.
Well, I always wondered, what if Clive was actually going to write a script and John Carpenter was going to direct it. I wonder what Clive would have come up with.
That was going to happen.
Yeah, that was going to, until there was a poll that was made up on the Halloween movies official fan page, and the fans said they didn't want that movie, and the producers or the right holders of the Halloween movies didn't want to do it either.
Well,
that's too bad.
Yeah, if Clive Barker writes it, it would be not probably what people would expect. And maybe the Halloween fans wouldn't understand that.
This is why we need a quantum time machine, so we can sidetrack onto an alternate universe where this happened and see this movie. If there's infinite multiverses out there, there's one of them that has this movie.
Yeah.
God.
Dave, very talented filmmaker, Dave Parker, who I tried to get to do an interview with, but he's just busy, making movies. He, did the cult film, The Dead Hate the Living, Tales of Halloween, and he's doing a film called Bus right now.
Oh, okay.
He's a talented filmmaker, but his story, I don't know, it didn't make much sense, and it just sounded rather silly. Something about like how Michael gets possessed when he's little, gets possessed by the Lord of Samhain when he opens the box, and Pinhead comes after. Comes after him because Michael's possessed by the Lord of Samhain, and that has really nothing to do.
So would that make him kind of a Cenobite?
No, I think it was just they were saying like he was recreating Michael's origin, saying like the Lord of Samhain was the one inside of him killing all these years.
Okay, so Samhain would have come out of the box.
Yeah, when he opened it, which doesn't make. I don't think he would have been like a Cenobite. I never really get that idea.
So why does Pinhead care about that?
I know.
Well, we don't have the script, so I guess we wouldn't know about that. Yeah, but it's fascinating how they were trying to stitch this together.
So you can read about that over on the website, clivebarkercast.com. It's still up near the top of the page. So, and as we're recording this, by the time this airs, you should be able to vote on round 4 of Duels of Blood. So you can get started on that as you're listening here. I'll try to get them both done at the same time.
Awesome.
And go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to talk with Max about some of the Pyramid Gallery's events that are coming up. Max, you posted that there's going to be an effects makeup challenge on the Days of the Dead, Louisville, Kentucky, that you're going to be at, right?
Yeah, I'm one of the official sponsors for that, along with the Sam Winston School of Character Arts. I'll be giving a box to one of the winners. The way it works is there's 4 different artists that have been picked out. And they're going to be competing with each other using just household materials and some makeup effects stuff, and whoever comes up with the best effects at the end of I can't remember how long it is. They'll be judged. One of the judges is Imogen Borman.
Oh, that's awesome!
Oh, cool.
Hellraiser 2.
That's great. Those puzzles are consuming her.
Yes. But I believe there's going to be 3 judges. She'll be one of the 3 judges. One of the other judges is a guy named Harry McCain. He's I guess he worked on a film called Night of the Dolls back in 2014.
Oh.
And he's done a number of other independent films since then as well. And I guess there'll be a 3rd judge who hasn't been announced yet. So, my friend Chris Blair, he's a cosplayer who you might have seen some of his work he's done with us and at conventions dressed as Pinhead and also Skinless Frank.
Oh,
and
yes.
I've seen that guy.
Yeah.
That's a really cool costume.
Yeah, he's the guy behind the FX Challenge, and he's done a number of them before, and we've sponsored a few before. So this is going to be a great one because the Days of the Dead just announced this huge Hellraiser reunion with the 4 Cenobites, along with Imogen Borman as well. So it's going to be a good time.
Wow,
fabulous! Yeah, and Elvira is going to be there. Heather Langenkamp,
wow.
Sid Haig.
I've got a friend in Louisville. I went over and stayed with him one time to see Alice Cooper.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, I'll have to... Zoso, shout out to you. You've got to go see this. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I think Twiggy Ramirez is going to be there.
Yeah, I was going to say Twiggy's there, too.
Wow.
There's also a big Return of the Living Dead reunion as well.
Yeah.
From the original Return of the Living Dead?
Uh-huh.
And tell me a little more about, you recently posted a host of awesome pictures from HorrorCon UK 2016, right? I mean, your work was there, but you weren't?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is through Hellbound Media. You're familiar with Mark Adams from the Hellbound
Sure, from the Cenobite.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does the comic book line, the Hellbound Media, and he generally, what he's done is he's been basically representing us over in the UK at different conventions.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. So you send some stuff over for him to
exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
So he we're working on another order for him right now. So it's just really cool to be represented at these different conventions.
Fabulous. We shared it on our podcast page. The amazing albums full of cosplayers and the Le Marchand box collection at the Hellbound Media table. So go to the Pyramid Gallery page and check out those albums. They look amazing.
So Max, when are you going to be making the Lamentation box with the numbers on it?
As soon as I get all these people knocking on my door for it after they hear this podcast, we're creating all this by giving room to these stories that are coming up. I actually create a fan base for it.
That's fabulous. All right. And then there's a link to Paul Kane via Pyramid Gallery, which is there is a configuration. I know we've mentioned this before, but there is a configuration box on your website called the Shadow Writer.
The box itself, Paul goes by the name the Shadow Writer.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
The box itself is the scribe configuration.
Oh, there we go.
And it's a really neat story. It's a 10-page story that he wrote specifically for the box, and it involves many other authors who have been enchanted by the box in times past. So, there's a link to that through our website.
And so this box is in production now, right?
Yeah, there's a non-musical version, which I also send out the 10-page story with, but I'm actually going to be making this into a music box soon. Each music box cost me, a pretty hefty investment to get a small run started. But once I have the run started, they're much easier to make and cheaper to make too. Yeah. But this is one of the next ones slated to be turned into a music box. It's a popular design.
Nice.
Awesome. Which you did with Nexus Concept Studio, which is also Mark Buckle, who was one of the guys who created the website The Labyrinth, which I think doesn't exist anymore. Or maybe it does. I forgot.
There's rumors that it might be coming back.
Awesome.
But he made a video maybe a month or two ago that basically was saying The Labyrinth was going to resurface. So we'll see. Excellent.
I hope for the best for Mark Buckle and The Labyrinth. Yeah.
So, Max, which weekend is it again? The Days of the Dead in Kentucky?
That's Labor Day weekend, September 2nd through 4th.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So people should have that time off anyway.
Yeah. Sounds like it's going to be a pretty good show, and if things go right, I think that there might be a reunion at Spooky Empire in Orlando, Florida as well. I know that things are heading that way. We already have Imogen Borman and Doug Bradley, and I think Simon Bamford's just signed on. So,
oh, wow.
So it seems like this might happen also in Orlando.
Usually Nicholas Vince goes to those things too.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if we see the same thing that's going on in Louisville happen in Orlando, so we'll see.
And I went to one that had Claire Higgins in it, but I think sometimes she drops out at the last minute, and same with, what's his name that played Dr. Chenard?
Kenneth Cranham.
Yeah, I went to one where he was supposed to be there, but he didn't make it.
Right. Yeah.
I think that was the one in New Jersey that I met you at, Max.
Yes, Monster Mania, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clive was also supposed to be at that show as well.
Oh, yeah. The head of the thing did this long apology speech to everybody about why Clive wasn't there at the Hellraiser event.
Mm-hmm.
And basically blaming Clive Barker, and he's so sorry, and, for the people that bought the VIP packages and stuff.
Well, I thought it was neat what they did do is there was a huge get well card that everybody signed.
Oh, that's cool.
Like the convention signed for Clive. So
yeah, and they also had autographed pictures that they were giving out to everybody that. Oh,
that's right. He had signed beforehand, right?
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, that's cool of them.
Okay.
Yeah, even with the show in Louisville, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more people jump on it, more of the cast. So we'll just keep an eye on it.
Could Valentina Vargas be showing up?
It's possible. She was at a Days of the Dead in Atlanta that I did.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
So,
I didn't think she ever did any of that.
I think that was one of the first ones she did here in America.
Huh. We should give you some cards to say, hey, call these guys if you want to be on their podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, no doubt.
She's one of those people that we've never had any contact with at all.
Well, I could work with you on that. So we'll do that, after the show, I think, because I know some people.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
That'd be great.
Excellent. So I guess that's it for this episode, right?
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, and go vote at www.duelsofblood.com. And if you're in Louisville, Kentucky, or anywhere near there, you should go Labor Day weekend to the Days of the Dead reunion and buy all of the puzzle boxes from Max.
There you go.
Yeah, all of them. Every single
That's
one
right.
of them.
Keep me busy.
You're amazing. All right. Thanks again for being with us. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
I'll see you.
Bye.
You can find the show notes for this page and lots of Clive Barker news and features at www.clivebarkercast.com. Leave comments there or get them directly into the podcast by clicking the Send Voicemail tab on the right. Please follow us on Twitter at BarkerCast or at Occupy Midian. Like us on Facebook and join the Occupy Midian Facebook group. You can listen on the site or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, Google Play, and DoubleTwist. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Please take a couple of minutes to leave us a review on iTunes. It means the world to us and helps us spread the word about Clive Barker. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial fan site and podcast that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Films. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans.
Thanks for listening.